Welcome to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Hey, that's me. Hi, and welcome to Positive Talk. Our show features the best positive stories and people from around the globe as we endeavor to answer the universal question of why am I here and what is my purpose? Understanding that can change everything, and knowing your greatness is fundamental to living your best life. So join us right now as together we work to create the adventure of our lifetime. There are people and there are situations that happen in life that need to be told. And the things that happen sometimes can seem so incredible. And how everything lines up, it's hard to imagine sometimes. And this is really one of those stories that we are going to tell today. Story of a young man who has got the world at his tail, or the world has got the world by the tail. That's it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Or something else.
Or something else.
Right.
He was an actor. He was a son. He was class president. Or he was king of the
prom king.
Prom king. had a effervescent personality. When he walked in the room, everybody knew it. Everybody loved him. And his dad is here today because over the course of time, it is remarkable what happened and the events that happened to him, and also because of him, which is even more important about this particular story. Christopher Cochran is with us. And Christopher, first of all, thank you for coming back. You were here before, and your story is just it gives me goosebumps every time I think of the story, and from the depths to the heights to the what's continuing now, which is even, I think, more exciting and stuff. So I would really like for you to talk about your son Christian and tell us his story, because it wasn't fair, Christopher, because the last time we talked, it was at the very end when you said, by the way, Christopher, have a nice day. Thank you. It was a great show. And he said, it was great. And I'm going to go down to the park that they created for him. Wait, what? They did what? Right. And then you were gone. So
right. So it gave us something to talk about, though, of course.
Yeah, it did. It was like
a little teaser, I suppose, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, a little teaser. This thing's got moving water and got all kinds of, it's amazing. So anyway, we're going to get into that, but tell us your family, and it is your family story, because Absolutely. Not only did one of the major events happen on his sister's birthday, that would be really tough. But in any event, tell us the story of your son and your family.
Absolutely. Well, first, again, thank you for having me back. I love just being here talking to you. It's a wonderful experience. Love your show so much. It's so popular, and just enjoy the vibes and the good feelings that I get. It brings a lot of joy to me, and it's certainly what's good about today, always when I get to speak to you. I always say not enough time in a day or in a month to talk about my son Christian. But my story's like a lot of people, right? We're a family. I met my wife in high school. I've told you about that before. We're high school sweethearts. We met when I was 15 years old, turning 16. She asked me out to the movies, and ever since that moment, we've had blissful love. And at the core of who we are is like a lot of people, is to start a family, in one way or fashion. For us, was to have children, and so we started that journey, and our firstborn Christian came along. I have two other children, Kate and Nicholas. And Christian was a beautiful soul the moment he was born, like a lot of babies. And he showed this incredible and remarkable ability to show empathy at a young age. And he was capable of sharing that with everyone. His mother showing comfort. We used to refer to him as Mr. Comfort, even as a child. And, he was, like you said, he had the world by the tail, and he was just graduated from college. He's now 22 years of age, graduating from college. He had come home and he had started to feel pain. He had back pain. And this continued to develop over the course of a couple months. And we, of course, subsequently got blood tests, CT scans. And ultimately, what happened is Christian was diagnosed with terminal cancer. That's a really tough thing, especially when you're in the room with your son and that kind of information is delivered to us, most importantly to Christian. But ultimately, as a family, I knew that is going to have an impact on everyone, because Christian had such a large reach with so many people. His soul was so kind and so giving. And so, with all the accolades that you talked about in the beginning, nothing tops the fact that he was the most kind and genuine person. And I always, as a father, you wonder what could have been and what would have been had he still been here, how many lives he would have touched and changed. But ultimately, that's not how life works. It's not how it works for a lot of people. And ultimately, Christian, given this diagnosis of terminal cancer, he didn't ask, why me? Why did this happen to me? Quite the opposite. He asked, what's good about today? And that was really his mantra for us as a family and for his friends. And it was a reminder every day when we were sad, we were down, he would say, what's good about today? And it was his way of showing us that no matter how difficult life can be, how the depths and lows of one's life can be in a day, you can still find beauty, joy, wonderful things in every single day. And he was right. You really can. And there were moments of just awfulness that we saw, but there was always beautifulness when you looked at it in the day. So Christian was diagnosed August 26th of 2020. He passed away September 1st of 2021, which happened to fall on my daughter's birthday. His younger sister, who's 15 months younger than he, they were very close. I'm not surprised that that's the day he passed away. And, ever since that moment when he passed away, we have tried to bring light to an otherwise dark world for so many people, because this message resonates. It's a simple message. It's a message of hope and resilience and joy. And we believe that, and I've seen it, right? I've seen the messages and the things that happen, and the constant influx of opportunities to share the message, that he continues to be here. He is not left. He may physically not be here, but he is absolutely here. I hear him all the time. I see it in the works that he is doing. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud that I get to be a part of that. I get to witness it. I get to share it with so many people. I get to share it with you and your listeners. And that's what we're trying to do. But Christian, overall, there's so many words I could use for him, but at the end of the day, he was filled with so much love. And that's what I want to try to get across to those that are listening, is that love outweighs all the darkness. And you can find it when you look at it in the most minor things in a day.
Well, first of all, and I said it before, and I'm sorry for your loss, but at the same time, what a gift.
Yeah.
What a gift he brought. And not only that, he made you he made you sit down and write this book. It's called What's Good About Today.
Yeah.
And there are just, I don't know, well, I do know, but there are reasons, and there are people that are brought here on this earth to do certain great things, and to be able to provide a shining light to a lot of different people. There was a coach at over by where I live. He had a saying, and he was coach for 40 years, and it was like, make it a great day. So it was always, let's be positive. Let's, even as a football coach, let's make it a great day. He wrote a book and a couple of them and stuff. But Christian, what's good about today what a example of how we should all be living our lives. And
Yeah.
and he was a perfect example of what can happen when you do that, and you're positive to other people and you affect other people respond to it.
Hmm. Hmm.
And he changed, even though he was around for a very short period of time. He changed people's lives.
Yeah, he did. Because, Christian truly believed that kindness was the way to connect with others, whether it was his family, his friends, or even someone he just met for the first time. He had this natural inclination to do nice things for people. He would often say, I just want to do nice things for people. And even during his illness, Christian focused on, was never on the why me, or anger at the world. Instead, he used that mantra of what's good about today to pass it on to others. And it really was his reminder to us that, no matter the challenges, there's always something good. So, I love that coach's approach, right? Make today a good day. I think when we use the phrase "what's good about today" with a question mark, it's to help question yourself. It's to help you internalize and make the choice, because ultimately we have the choice whether we decide to look to darkness or we look to light. And so Christian believed that kindness inspires kindness, and truly wanted to change the world one act of kindness at a time. And Christian had an immeasurable sensibility and sensitivity to compassion, and to reach so many people. And honestly, it's his legacy he left and continues to inspire others today.
Even more importantly than that, I want to share with our audience some of the little things that may have gone unnoticed, not certainly not by you, but by other people. But as an example, when he was diagnosed and word got out that he was
Mhm.
diagnosed,
Mhm.
and you lived in a cul-de-sac,
Mhm.
and the
Still do.
cul-de-sac filled
Still
up
do.
with, still do, and the cul-de-sac filled up with people,
Yeah.
people who were genuinely touched, concerned, and wanted to just be there to share their love for him, and to offer their support. And the same thing happened when he passed,
Mhm.
and the cul-de-sac again filled up with people.
Yeah. Yeah, hundreds. It was amazing. Candles, music. Certainly the day Christian passed was more of a silent moment with candles and signs, kids holding signs, just to show their love for Christian. It was incredibly impactful. I feel it, you just bringing that up, it brings back those memories. It's still very raw. But you know, even today, if you were to drive down our street, all the lanterns are green. Christian's favorite color was green. So they put light bulbs all the way down. That still exists today. If you drive down our long driveway down to the cul-de-sac, you will see this as a reminder of Christian specialness that people have not forgotten. I think that's one of the things I'm always eager to try to continue to do is, I think any parent wants to continue to keep their child with us when things like this happen. And I don't want to let Christian's legacy go. I want to continue to bring it out in the open. And so, yeah, that was certainly the amount of people that showed up was extraordinary. The love you could feel, the support, and that continues today. It never ends.
I keep laughing at you because every time I talk to you, I find out something new that I have to repeat.
About the
I
lights. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to know who was it that okay, what are we gonna do? We're gonna do something great for Christian. I don't know what is it. What are we gonna do? I know we're gonna change all the street lights from
Yeah.
normal color to green, and all the leading up to the cul-de-sac, and that will be our. Who even could think of something like that? That's pretty
I don't
amazing.
know. I don't even know to this day who did that, but I also know I mean, this is another tidbit. Every spring, I think last spring or prior to spring, they they went around and sold as a fundraiser, I don't know, they're yellow yellow tulips that come up every year. So in the spring, if you go around the entire neighborhood, I live in a very large place, there are yellow tulips all over people's homes as far as you go. And that is again another reminder of Christian. So there are constant things that sort of and I had nothing to do with that. That was someone who wanted to take it on, and they've been an amazing supporter. So those are the kind of things that pop up. And you had mentioned early on about I welcome anybody. If you live in Pittsburgh, you're near Pittsburgh, you come into Pittsburgh. There is a part of town of Pittsburgh. It is the heartbeat of Pittsburgh. It's called the Strip District. And it is the most bustling area you will ever find in Pittsburgh. And at the end of this very long, we're bustling and shops, and is this beautiful church. It's a Polish church. It's one of the oldest in Pittsburgh. It's about 150 years old. And it's been there probably around since Pittsburgh was, developing. And right next to the church is this large area in the midst of this urban landscape, 6 boulders, rocks with water coming out, and butterfly trees, and a beautiful angel holding a shell with water. And it's absolutely beautiful. And there's, of course, a beautiful memorial to Christian. It has his picture there. It's in, I don't know if they call that bronze, but a whole discussion. It's called the What's Good About Today Memorial Garden. And it's a very popular, in terms of places for people come. And I hear from people from all over the world who find out about this, who have stopped by, they'll pray, they'll sit in peace. Doesn't mean you have to be necessarily religious. You can be spiritual. Right. It talks about Christian's legacy. It talks about some of his quotes about how to be kind to everyone, because you never know what they're going through. And it's right there on display. It's absolutely gorgeous. And it's Christian would be appreciative. And honestly, the Christian asked for us to do something for the church. And the church, of course, within 6 months of Christian passing, the Diocese of Pittsburgh wanted to do something to commemorate Christian and all his goodness. And so I think it's a testament really to Christian, and they knew the works and the things that he was doing. So I go there to sit and find peace sometimes.
That is, again, another amazing piece to an amazing story that hasn't been fully written yet. It's going to continue on, because let me tell you, one of the things that I'm advocating for that needs to happen, and that is, do you remember the movie? It was called Phenomenon.
I kind of do. Who was in that movie?
That was John Travolta.
Oh yeah, yes, I do. Yep.
And he got struck by a light, and then he became very, very smart, and he did all of these things, and affected all of these people, and then he dies. And the effect that he had on those people continues. Right. Children are born. Children are born. Corn is created. There's a new cure for cancer that is brought because of his, and that's what's going to happen with Christian. I'm telling you that because of his shining example of the man that he is, and he didn't get to be a man for very long, but he was the type of man that people could emulate. And to have a movie with a great kid who's got a great heart, and to have all the things that happened to him, and I can just see it. I was just thinking to myself, near the end of the movie, when and now the green lights going down, people going down to the cul-de-sac via the green lights, and it is a beautiful story of a great kid, a great man who.
Yeah. I always say Christian lived probably four lifetimes of others. You know what I mean? He condensed a lot and compacted a lot of his life in those 23 years of life. He was fortunate that he traveled the world, studied abroad, studied in Prague, the Anglo University over there. He also spent his summer in India, and he wanted to.
That is so cool.
Yeah, he really. Listen. I feel I'm very blessed and I'm privileged. Christian's always felt like he was privileged as a human, that we have a house, we have a home, we have a loving family. Not everybody has these things. So doesn't get lost on me how blessed I am. And it didn't on Christian. And Christian, I used to say, Christian, where do you want to go? You've gone to Prague, we've done different trips. Where do you want to go study abroad? You could study in Europe, you could study in England, he goes, Dad, I want to go to India. And I was like, "Oh, Christian, why do you want to go to India?" I go, really? Like, and he's like, yeah, Dad, I want to go there because I know I could be of use. I could be of service. I could put myself out there, and it's a culture I want to know and I want to be close to. And I was like, okay. And he did. He went there. He helped with water studies to help, try to understand how to get better clean water in areas of poverty. There's tremendous amount of poverty over there. And so that's Christian's mindset, right? Is, hey, I want to go where I'm needed. Where can I help? He didn't have to do any of that, right? He was perfectly content. He could have done, go to a cushy place, but that was not how Christian lived his life. He was always about connecting and seeing where he could make a difference. And I admire that so much about him. I'm so proud of him as a father. I'm just so proud of him. I've been with his being proud. So yeah.
Tell us the story, because it's a really cool story of when you guys were either in a car together or running together or walking together,
Yeah.
and you had a really, really heartfelt conversation.
Well, Christian, one of the things we did as part of his year journey, I knew I had hoped, of course, that Christian would live, but I knew and he knew this was not going to last, right? The diagnosis, most people don't live past 6 to 8 months when you're given this diagnosis. And Christian was given something that was, he was in stage 4. So this had already kind of spread. We were just fighting time. So Christian and I would go on walks. It was an opportunity to keep his energy up as best he could. We had taken many walks. We talked about things that you don't want to talk about with your 22-year-old son. I'd rather be talking about that's your first job, what's your first house, tell me about the girls, tell me about the things that you love to do. But yet these were things that Christian wanted to talk about, which was his legacy. What was he going to leave behind? He certainly didn't, I can tell you this firmly, he did not want to be known as the kid with cancer. That was not what his legacy wanted to be. Yet, and it bothered him. I mean, it was, when people would want to come see Christian at the house, Christian wanted to be his full self for them. I never saw Christian could snap into, even when he was sick, he would snap into the Christian of just this incredible personality, jokes, because he was wanting them to feel good. And so when we would go on these walks, we would talk about deep things. But I remember distinctly one of the conversations we have, and I talk about this in the book, because Christian to me was a great philosopher. He understood the world much better than anyone I've ever met in my entire life. I used to say, Christian, what regrets do you have in this life you've had? Do you have any regrets that you look back on? And he said, Dad, I have a regret. I have one regret. And I was like, wow, I was so, I got so in touch with Christian. I was like, Christian, tell me, because I'm hanging on every word here. And he said, Dad, I did too much homework. I said, Christian, okay. I laughed, of course. I said, no, Christian, now tell me the truth. What was your one? No, Dad, that is my only regret in this life that I've had, that I did too much homework. I just wish I hadn't done so much homework. And it was, again, another way for Christian to bring life back into the levity of it all, I think, and to the way he used to say, don't take life so seriously, Dad, because, you don't take it that serious. And I would, I'm trying to be on this rat race of life. And he said, Dad, slow down, don't take it so seriously. We're not here a long time. And he just knew. He understood it all. So that story sticks out to me because he certainly made me laugh and brought levity. and a true understanding of the world in which we live in. So he had a way of and he was a great jokester. So, he could make you laugh just by walking in the room. You had mentioned when you first said is he could light up a room like no other person that I've ever met. And I know many people who have met Christian who say the exact same thing, that no one lit up a room like Christian when he walked in. You were drawn into him. You had to be next to him. You had to listen to him because he made you laugh. He can make you cry. He can make you so happy and joyful that this person was in existence in this world. I'm sorry he's not here, but because I wish I could share him with you right now in those terms, in earthly terms. But yeah, he had an amazing way of doing that.
Well, but you know something? Because you have become his ambassador to what's good about today and carrying his legacy forward. I love me or hate me, but I firmly believe that was part of the plan.
No, I definitely part of the plan. Yeah, of course. I think we all have a plan, one way or the other. Not in our control, I say, right? It's not in my decision making. Although I tried my best, our family did everything we could. But it was it's one of those things it's not in the cards.
Well, but you know something? There are people. I was just thinking about this before our interview. There are people that are going to be going through the strip in downtown Pittsburgh, and they're going to go, "What's this all about?"
Mhm.
And they're going to stop, and they're going to read his story, and they're going to look at, and they're going to go, "This was a consequential individual who had a consequential life. Maybe I can do better."
You know what? I know that's true. Sometimes, Kevin, I go down, there's a boulder, one of the boulders, not the ones with water coming out, but one of the boulders that was put there was to rest the legs and the weary knees of every individual that comes by, because we're all going through something. So it's an opportunity. The boulder is there. It's designed in a way for those to sit next to the fountain to find peace and to rest their legs and to sit there. And it is an opportunity for anybody to reflect on these things and see that, hey, um, this kid's story is extraordinary. And I've sat at that rock and I watch people go to read, right? I will sit and watch people, and there's plenty of people just walk by, but a lot of people stop and they read. And I witnessed two girls who were reading this board, and I'll forget it. The one looked at the other one and said, "I have got to be a better person. I've got to be more like this guy." And they walked away. And I thought, well, I'll never know what happened or if it did something changed, So how many times that I was just, it's not like I can get there all the time. It takes me 30, 40 minutes to get there, 30 minutes to get there. So I always wonder how many people it impacts when they sit there.
It gives everyone who passes by the opportunity to make decisions differently. And it's their choice. They can do it or they can, poo-poo it. But what he is doing and what that is allowing for is for people to recognize that there's a better way and you can live a better life and you can have an impact because they know that nobody builds a park for somebody who's a pukehead.
Mhm.
People do it for people that they respect and admire.
Yeah.
And so that young girl, the cool thing is, Chris, is that we don't know what impact that is going to have on that young girl.
Right.
She may end up turning into some extraordinary human being that really, and she's going to point back to going to that spot because she was called to be there at that time because it was right for her to get the message that she needed to change her life.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, I'm happy about that. That makes me joyful for sure. If I did nothing for the rest of the time, that memorial and garden and fountain and the messaging, if that alone, and I believe a church that's 150 years old, it's been around, it's not going to go anywhere. It's big, it's beautiful. This is an area that's not going anywhere and will last this well past my time, our time. It will still be here doing the good works and the legacy that Christians leaving behind for so many. It will continue, I hope, for hundreds of years, because the way it's built, when I tell you the way they built this, Kevin, it's unbelievable. We're talking about 6 boulders that are bigger than me individually. They're built halfway under the ground. So the boulders are halfway. I don't know how they did it, and shout out to Aquatic who did that in Pittsburgh. But there's a basin that's huge underneath that collects all the water, and that's how it regenerates the water. So it's a very environmentally friendly. It sustains itself in the city, but it's absolutely gorgeous. And they drilled holes through these boulders, through the centers of them, for the water to come out in each one of these 6 boulders. So you can just picture it rolling over these beautiful boulders, and in an angel in the middle, just putting her arms out to pull you in into love. And the message on the board is not a religious message either, by the way. That's why I say it talks about Christians' love of everyone and inclusivity, right? So that's important. You don't have to be one particular sect or religion. It's a testament to Christian's memorial when he was at his funeral, that over 1,000 people showed up, and they were from so many religious backgrounds: Muslims, Jewish, certainly Christian, just all kinds of faiths that showed up. We had an opera singer who was African American singing and belting out this beautiful music for Christian. So it was a testament to him.
And the cool thing is everybody recognized it. Everybody saw it.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted it. They wanted to be close to him. They wanted to be part of his life. And when that no longer became possible, they wanted to make sure that they gave him the respect that he was due. And congratulations to that whole segment of your life, because, young man, you're embarking I feel like a game show host.
Yeah, you sound like you should do that on the side. You should be a game show host.
You're embarking on a new life.
You've got the great voice for that too. It'd be fantastic. I'd watch.
Because he hasn't been gone very long.
No.
And the book just came out. When did the book come out?
Officially came out August 22nd. It had a pre-release probably a month prior, that's to build it up. But it's been August 22nd. So it's been like I think I mentioned before, it's gotten a lot of traction, which is great. And we're doing lots of different things. I'm doing speaking engagements. So they come along as they come along. I'm not an active pursuer per se of those. I mean, I think they just kind of come along, and it gives me opportunities to do speaking engagements, to talk about Christian, talk about the message, change lives, help people to look at the perspective, live in the present, and leave a legacy. And I think we all should try to leave a legacy. That's the thing. I mean, you want to strive for legacy so that you can leave something for the next generation, so they can remember the good things that you did, how you made that impact. It's vital to leave a legacy. If all you're doing is just the same thing and you're not impacting and making changes in other people's lives and an impact on the world, some way, some fashion, because we all can. This is one story amongst so many people who have stories. But I am determined to leave Christian's legacy. I'm sure that'll leave a legacy for me, but at the end of the day, my legacy is to leave it for Christian, because it's too important to let it go.
They're combined. They're intertwined, if you will, because your legacy and his legacy are all about taking care of each other, love, acceptance, what's good for about today, what's good about each other, and to take care of each other with kindness and generosity and hope, and all of that stuff is wrapped up in what both of you are doing. And he provided you with the blueprint, and now it's your job to take the blueprint and build the house.
Yeah, trying. Not a very good builder though. That's
That's no, you know what's going to
I need
happen.
I need help.
Wait, I got sources. I know people. I know you know people too.
Yeah,
And
a
and
couple.
the thing is, there is, and I know this for a fact. Um, Christian's life was not in vain. It was by design, and he and his guides, and you and your guides and angels, and the I think the entire heavenly body of whoever is there is designed to help all of us, and they are all behind the work that you are doing to promote and to help get the word out about what kind of not only what kind of a kid and man he was, but what you can do with your own life as well. And that is, and there is, I think that there are thousands of them, and that, which is why you're going to get speaking gigs, and you're not going to know. It's like, where did you hear about me from? And oh, Joe was talking to Frank, who was talking to Don, and then that, and your name came up, and so we called you, and there you are. And we want to pay you $10,000 so that you can donate whatever you want to.
We'll go to Christian Cochran Foundation. Anything to help.
I'll see. There's another one. Tell us about the foundation, please.
Oh, I would love to. Thanks for asking, Kevin.
Well, I forgot there's a foundation.
No, of course. Well, as I always say, this foundation wasn't set up by me. The foundation was set up by Christian. And I'm sure people are going, how's that even possible? But Christian, before he passed away, as part of those walks and discussions, Christian wanted to start a foundation. And the Christian Cochran Legacy Fund, which is through the Pittsburgh Foundation, it's been around a very long time, a very reputable foundation. I did not want to run a foundation. I don't have the wherewithal to do those things. Was created to continue Christian's passions and to make a lasting impact in areas that he cared most about. So we're supporting a variety of causes, whether it's from drama, music to youth, animal welfare, research advocacy, those who are children who are in inner city schools, those who are less fortunate, especially children who have broken homes. We try to do scholarships. And we do things through the cholangiocarcinoma Foundation, which is the rare cancer that Christian had. The other thing we're really proud of, and proud to partner with Young Adult Survivors United, which is short, they call it YASU, which helps young adult cancer survivors and their co-survivors thrive. So we are working to enhance that program. And we work to ensure that, Christian's legacy continues to support these causes, positively impacting communities that people live in. And so I think they're, as part of that program, and the legacy is also everything we do includes the message of what's good about today. Right. So we do after school programs that include what's good about today to help children understand how beautiful their day is. And kids have difficult times, difficult days, especially nowadays. You can see it in the news, you see it everywhere. And so we use this as an opportunity to share with children how they can look at the world differently. It's a mind shift, but if you're doing it at a young age where you are looking at the day positively as opposed to negatively, you can have a tremendous impact in your life in the future. And I think that's how we make a change. And so, but I'm proud of the things we're trying to do and continue to do. I'm proud of the work we do with young adult survivors with cancer who need a lifting hand, who have no one to help them, sometimes families who are not engaged with them while they're going through cancer. I know it's hard to understand that, but I see it all the time. And I work with the co-founder. Her name is Stephanie. I butcher her last name. It's Stavanovich. And she is an amazing, amazing woman. She had cancer, leukemia when she was young, survived, and she dedicates her entire life to helping young adults with cancer. And I try to help her with that as well in little ways I can.
Next time you see her, would you invite her on the show for me?
I would love to. I talked to her about you, and I would love to have her on, or you have her on yourself or together. I think it would be fantastic. She's got so much to say. And
Well, just give me the information, because she is people like her and you are the ones that are going to change the world. And it's important that she get the message out in a broader sense. And fortunately for me, I am blessed that my platform is growing and more people are interested in what we are doing. And I think that there right now is a change in our society, in that we've spent the last 10 years filled with hate, division, and fear. I
mhm,
think we're tired of hating the other.
mhm.
We're tired of not of just tired. So, so we've got to. So now, with people like you and Christian's legacy, which, by the way, I've never heard of somebody before they pass away to create their own um, foundation.
Yeah,
I'm sure it may have happened, but I mean, you talk about somebody who was ultra aware of everything. So we need to support the foundation, and we need to support gals like her
Stephanie. Yep.
Stephanie,
Yep.
and
Stephanie.
and and stuff, because people are seeing they're seeing that it's a whole lot more fun to listen to somebody talk about something good than it is to have them bash and to name call and to tell everybody about how lousy the other people are. When
Yeah.
is a short-term self-serving thing that doesn't last. What happens that does last is goodness and kindness and taking care of each other. And when you find a 22-year-old kid, Christopher, when you find a 22-year-old kid that gets it and understands it, it's like, good Lord, there is hope for the world.
Yeah, I agree with you. Here's another little tidbit for you. This is
Oh
actually
no.
coming. Well, you'll have an opportunity to talk to Stephanie about this, but what's coming up this at the end of the month, 25th of October, is something called the Wig Out. It's a big deal in Pittsburgh. It's down at there's a big casino here, Rivers Casino in Pittsburgh. Anyway, the Wig Out is something that Yasu sponsors. I mean, they get 800, 900 people to this event, celebrities. They come to this event. Everybody wears a wig, right? Because of cancer. And you go to this event and they auction and they do all kinds of things. It's huge. And Stephanie, with the partnership, what we do as part of what's good about today, when you walk into the venue, there is I think it's a I know the measurements. It's probably like an 18 by 18 banner on a platform, a step through that says what's good about today. It's Christian's logo, part of the foundation.
Right.
And there's somebody who mans the table, and everybody comes up and they take a big note about, an 8 by, 5, and they write what's good about their day and they stick it on this board. And by the end of the night, the entire thing is filled with what's good about today and their day. And if you read these messages, they're extraordinary. They're heartfelt about their day and what's beautiful about the day. Many of them cancer survivors, or there's the gamut of it. But that's another thing that we do. We do it every year. It's been obviously the last couple of years we've been doing it, and we do. Stephanie wants us there, and we continue to do it. And it's a big, big deal. So I'm sure she can talk to you more about that.
I'm sorry, sir, but I've got bad news for you.
Don't tell me. We're out of
This is
time again?
no, this is
Oh.
another book.
Ah.
So, can you imagine writing a book or a mini series, or oh golly, this is a movie? Because what what it is you've got this board, and what's good about today, and people are they're writing what's good about their day on the board, and then that goes in the book, and it goes into, by category, by however you want to organize it, but there are thousands of stories about what's good about today. And then the mini series is you pick one of those stories and then you do a show about it and stuff. But what a wonderful, what a wonderful legacy to be leaving behind.
Yeah, and continue to do. It's wonderful to see that when people call and can we use the banner or the step through, they'll take it down to a place and they'll do the same thing. They'll do stickies and children will do it. And again, it's just continually reminding people about what's good about today.
Yeah, by the way, you're a Pittsburgh Steeler fan, I assume.
Oh, you have to be. I have no choice.
And I
my life
like
would be
you anyway.
my life would be threatened, Kevin. You don't live in Pittsburgh and you're not wearing a jersey, so I don't really have a choice. So no, I like Steelers. I'm okay with them.
I know, but I'm a Seattle Seahawks fan, and you are part of our legacy of negativity.
Yeah.
But I wanted to mention because whereas you have got a what's good about today board where people can post on it and stuff at the Pike Place Market, we have a wall where you can stick your chewing gum.
Oh. Well, that sounds disgusting, actually.
It is the grossest thing
that is
you'll
really,
ever
really
see.
That has just got to be the worst thing. How many pieces of gum are up on this thing?
Thousands. And there's gum upon gum upon gum.
Let me ask you a question. This is the biggest question of the day. Have you done this?
Oh no,
you have not contributed to this debauchery of the chewing gum.
No, unfortunately, my teeth don't allow me to chew gum. So, but I believe my children have been participating.
Guilty by association, of course.
Exactly. They're not nearly as enlightened as Christian.
You know what? I have to be honest. I think Christian would have actually done it. So, he probably would have put the gum up there. I'm sure.
Correct me
he
if I'm
probably
wrong.
would have taken it off and I don't know. For a laugh, to get you to laugh, he may have taken a piece of gum off and put it in his mouth to chew it just to be funny.
Oh,
yeah, that's how he would have thought it was funny for you to get a good laugh. But I should say Christian's like laughing. He's like, yeah, I would, Dad. But he'd have probably thought that was funny as all given. So just to make a laugh and make someone smile, he would have done it.
He was an extraordinary human being. Still is. He is transcended into more than a physical human being, but he's still there. He's still with you. When the last time you were on, Michelle was with us. She's got a little psychic ability, and Christian made her cry during the show and stuff. And it's true. He is fulfilling his destiny, which is not yet complete.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I apologize to Rochelle about making her cry for sure.
Oh, that's all right.
I'm always interested in Rochelle's perspective. She actually, I believe, read the book. I haven't spoken to her since then, but it'll be interesting.
She would have been here today, but she was traveling, sadly.
Yeah, I'll be interested. Love to get her critique, as long as it's good, of course. And we'll have to cut her mic off if it's not. So, but yeah, no, she's wonderful. She's beautiful, and she's got a great soul. And she felt it as I feel it too, and you do too.
Oh, he's eminently here. And by the way, I've got to ask you, now that the book is out and it's doing well, are you starting to get some national media play?
No, not yet. That's okay. Never was really. I mean, obviously, I want that because it's about the message, the opportunity to speak. I've written, I don't know how the game is played, to be honest with you, Kevin. I'm just a dad who's trying to plod along and get the message out in the ways that come to me. And anyway, I get an opportunity to speak, I do it, but not yet. I say not yet because I believe that will happen. But in whatever time is when it's right, I suppose, it'll happen, but not yet. No national, not really, not
Well,
really.
I will tell you this is that number one, this is not like in a lot of newscasts or national stuff. This is a 10-minute thing. It's like, hi, how are you? Here you go. Here's a book, and then here, go buy the book, and have a nice day. See ya.
Right,
And
right.
this is not that. This story needs to be told, and it needs to be reflected on, and it needs for people to understand the depth of who this man was and is, and the work that you are doing to do this. It's just this it takes an hour. I'm sorry, it just does.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my goal is ultimately everybody, it's the most recognizable thing is what's good about today. So if my only dream, my hope, my ultimate goal is that the phrase "what's good about today" with that question mark is as normal as is anything anyone else says. Oh, what's good about today? What's good about it's just like rolls off the tongue. It's a normal part of everybody's sort of existence, so that it continues to remind them, uh, especially when they're having difficult days. When you're having those times when you just can't look for anything good. And if they can remind themselves that, and they can reflect on Christian's life and go, here's a kid, 22, the worst circumstance you could obviously have, knows he's going to die. Yet he was capable of providing this incredible light and joy and continued to live, knowing the ultimate outcome was coming. I don't know how many of us could say that. And but when we go through what difficult times in our daily struggles that everybody has, that's the worst. That's the worst thing possible, yet he still found the joy. So if you're going through something that's tough, whether there's lots of tough things, divorce and other things that are going on, you can roll through that because you can look at the good in things. And that's hopefully my goal.
I love that. What I'd love to see people do. You know how people say, how are you? All right. Hey, how are things? How you doing? I
Yeah.
actually have a friend who will not answer that question because he doesn't believe that the question is genuine to begin with. Because he says in his mind, he says, "Oh, everybody just says that. Nobody wants to hear about your day or how you are." So I think we should change that to, "Hey, what's good about your day?"
Yeah.
And
Well,
and
Kevin, I actually have a shirt and people wear it. It was part of the donation thing that people buy on the website, which is what's good about it just says what's good about today, or there is something WGAT question mark, like the milk, it says got what's good about today.
pretty
It's
cool.
it's it's just a way of getting people to stop and think. And so how many times I hear from people who go wear that shirt and people stop and go, what do you mean by what's good about today? What does that mean?" And so they wanna know the question, and you explain it to them. It's a way to question your day and look at the good. So, the more we can do that, I like your idea. If we can replace the certain phrases, with this, that would be ideal.
I'm just struck by, what do you mean? What's good about today? There's nothing good about today. And I mean, there are people who have this attitude of everything is less than, and oh, woe is me, and all that kind of stuff. You got to change your perspective, and this is one way to do it. What's good about today? Well, now you got to come up with something good, and it can be the fact that, I don't know, you had a better bowel movement. It doesn't matter what it.
Well,
Sorry.
that could be a good thing, I suppose. I used to say, Kevin, my wife's grandfather's no longer with us. He used to, and it's to your point, which is I would ask him like, "What'd you have to eat today?" And he's like, "I only had an apple," right? And then I'd say, "Come on, I'm sure you ate something else." He's like, "Oh, I just had a bowl of soup." And I'm like, "Okay, well, what else did you have?" It's like, my point is that you can ask someone, "There's nothing good about my day," but the truth is, if you really sit and go, "Really? Well, let's talk about your day." If you really find out there is good things in your day, starting with the fact that you're here and you're having a conversation, first and foremost, that's a good thing. And so you can break people down to figure out that no, there's good. And then they realize it. Yeah, you're right. There is good.
Exactly. And I said that off the cuff about bowel movements, but I do have to tell you, judging from experience, not mine, but other people's, that if you have trouble with that, it is a big deal.
I think you're absolutely right. I think every human has had this. They just don't want to talk about it, except you, Kevin, that wants to talk about it. But I think, yeah, there's everybody has those issues. Yeah, one way or the other at some point in their life. Too much medicine at some point in time after surgery, whatever it could
Yeah,
be.
my brother fell off a roof and was um, in bed for like 6 months,
Mm,
and he had broken stuff everywhere. And the nurse came to him one day, and she said, "You know, Mr. McDonald, you haven't had a bowel movement in 2 weeks." And he said, "Well, I don't want to eat enough so that I have that." And she said, "Well, I tell you, you got a choice.
yeah,
You can either eat enough so that you do nature progresses naturally, or I have to get the spoon out."
yes,
And he said, "Spoon?" Said, "Yep, that's I will leave it to your imagination what the spoon is for." But so he started eating normally.
I believe he did. Probably right away. He didn't hesitate. I wouldn't
No,
either.
not a bit. Can I have some bran flakes, please?
Quickly, all bran, nothing but bran.
So I got it. I got to tell. I love talking to you. You are just Mr. Cochran. You are just so much fun.
Oh, thanks. So are you. I love talking to you. I feel like we're just two guys hanging out, drinking a beer. We just don't
That's
have
it.
beers. I have water. It's filled with water, no beer. But I could do it. I could absolutely. I love talking to you. I love sharing things.
Well, I got to tell you, you are on a mission, and your mission is golden. And Christian is so proud that his story didn't lie there and just lie there. And you know, the interesting thing is, all of these things happen, and some of these people you don't even know how they happened.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. There's so many things that have. Again, so many stories. I talk about them in the book, but there's far beyond the amount of stories that continue to come through in the way Christians changing lives. And um, I've said it before, I'll never know the fullest extent of this until I'm no longer here and I can do that reflection back and see all the things that happened. But I've certainly witnessed enough that it's mind blowing. It's quite mind blowing.
And by the way, if you want to get the book, What's Good About Today, you can pick it up at Amazon. And you can also go to Chris CochranSpeaks.com and you can pick it up there. And I guarantee you that at one point or another, you're going to find out all these stories of people and how it had the ripple effect has affected other people's lives because of Christian's life and because of this book. And because of, by the way, no small thing, your and your wife's parenting style. So I want that needs to be celebrated as well.
Thank you.
Because you allowed him to be him.
Yeah, that's true. My wife's probably better than me, but yeah.
Well, you're an awesome man, and you're coming back on the show again in a month or so, I think.
I think so. Yep, and we will have my wife here, and that will I'll let her do all the talking next time. So she's Sicilian, so she likes to talk. That Italian in her. So
and I'll bet you she's a hell of a cook too.
She's a great cook. She's a great cook. She'll say she's not as good as she once was, but I think she's a great cook. Absolutely. I can feel it.
People that are great cooks don't view their own gifts the way they should.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because they're so self-critical. My sister cannot, she's a great baker and pie maker, and she cannot just sit back and enjoy a piece of her own pie without analyzing how good it is, the crust and everything about it. And so rather than just, that's a lesson for us all. Just let it be. The gospel according to Paul McCartney. Just let it be. It's going to be okay.
Bakers are different than cookers because bakers have to be precise. So that's a tougher job, I think, being a baker. So you got to know, you can't miss those ingredients, the measurements. It's all going to be pretty precise. So for sure.
Exactly. Well, now I've gone overboard in my but I love talking to you, and Debbie's going to be mad at me because she's my assistant, because now she's got to edit this down a little bit, but she'll get over it. And so Chris, thank you so much for being here.
All right, man. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Our purpose is to provide everyone with a positive, entertaining, and educational experience. I would love your feedback and comments about the show, including possible topics and great guest suggestions. Please email me at kevin@kmmedia.pro. And remember, be kind to one another, because each other's all we've got. That's Kevin@kmmedia.pro.